The city of New York never slept, but its heartbeat had grown restless in recent weeks. From Harlem to Yancey Street, whispers spread of a destructive force tearing through abandoned warehouses, ports and construction sites, leaving nothing but rubble behind. Witnesses described a hulking creature, scales glistening like a reptile's armor, whose strength seemed to rival even the mightiest heroes. His name, Abomination. Once a man, Emil Blonsky, he had been transformed by a twisted recreation of the super soldier serum fused with gamma radiation. The result was a nightmare, a beast fueled not only by raw power but also by bitterness and envy. Where the Hulk had found moments of reluctant heroism, Abomination had embraced only rage and destruction. And this time, he wasn't smashing for chaos alone. He was looking for a statement, a challenge, proof that there was none alive who could match him. Meanwhile, across the river in the Baxter Building, the Fantastic Four monitored the rising wave of chaos. Benjamin Grimm, better known as The Thing, leaned back in his reinforced chair as Reed Richards briefed the team. Grainy footage played on the monitors, a monstrous silhouette ripping through steel containers as if they were paper, roaring at police who dared approach. "That's not the Hulk," Johnny Storm muttered, recognizing the reptilian features. Reed's brow furrowed. "Correct. This is Emil Blonsky, better known as Abomination. He's one of Banner's most dangerous adversaries, stronger than most gamma mutants and more cunning. If he keeps escalating, he could level half the city." Sue Storm turned toward Ben, her voice tinged with concern. "The Avengers should handle this. It's their field." Ben cracked his rocky knuckles, his gravelly voice carrying a mix of eagerness and irritation. "Yeah, well, looks like they're all busy off-world or playing politics. Someone's got to step in before Big Green's evil twin tears down my neighborhood. And I ain't letting that lizard knock around Yancey Street." For all his gruff humor, the Thing carried a deep loyalty to his roots. Yancey Street was his home, and seeing it threatened by some out-of-town monster stirred a fire in him. This wasn't about proving who was the strongest. That contest with the Hulk had already been fought too many times. This was personal, and for Abomination, it was personal too. When word reached him that the Fantastic Four were considering stepping in, Abomination's twisted pride flared. Hulk had always overshadowed him, but he could at least stake his claim over the title of second strongest. And what better way to send that message than by breaking the backbone of Marvel's first family? If he crushed the Thing, publicly, decisively, no one would ever mistake Ben Grimm for a rival to Hulk again. That night, beneath the fractured glow of broken street lamps, Abomination stormed into Yancey Street, smashing cars aside as he bellowed into the night air. "Where's your rock, man? Where's Grimm?" His voice carried like thunder, rattling windows and hearts alike. Ben didn't keep him waiting. Dressed in his simple blue trunks, his rocky hide reflecting the orange glow of nearby fires, the Thing strode forward through the haze. "You got a big mouth, Scales. Too bad you're about to be spitting out teeth." Crowds gathered at a safe distance, phones raised, capturing the impossible sight, two titans facing off in the middle of the city, each a monument to twisted science. Abomination sneered, his emerald scales shimmering. "Don't flatter yourself, Grimm. You're nothing but a warm-up, a stand-in for the real fight I'll never lose against Banner. Tonight I show the world what happens when gamma power crushes a pile of rocks." Ben planted his feet, fists clenched, every muscle of his rocky body primed for impact. "Buddy, I've gone toe-to-toe with the strongest there is. You're just next on the list." And so the stage was set. New York itself seemed to hold its breath as the two monsters squared off. The rumble of Abomination's growl echoed against the cracked pavement, while the Thing's gravelly defiance rang like iron on stone. The night sky trembled with anticipation. The world was about to witness a clash of brute force and unbreakable will. The air hung heavy between them, tense and electric, as if the city itself knew it was about to become an unwilling arena. Abomination's lips curled into a vicious grin. He struck first. With a roar, the Gamma Beast lunged forward, his massive clawed fist cutting through the night like a wrecking ball. The thing barely had time to brace before the punch connected. The impact cracked the street beneath them, sending shockwaves through storefronts. Ben staggered back a few feet, the sound of splintering stone echoing through his rocky form, but he did not fall. He spit out a chunk of gravel and grinned. "That all you got, Scales? My Aunt Petunia hits harder than that." Rage flared in Abomination's eyes. He swung again, but this time the thing ducked low and slammed his shoulder into Abomination's chest. The force was like a freight train colliding with a tank, and both giants went crashing into a line of parked cars, metal twisting like paper beneath their bulk. Crowds screamed and scattered as sirens blared in the distance, but the battle drowned out every sound. Abomination roared, lifting a taxicab above his head and hurling it at Ben like a toy. The thing caught it mid-air, spun, and hurled it back, sending the car exploding into flames against Abomination's hide. Though the beast was barely singed, the insult burned deeper than fire. "You think you can stand against me? You're nothing," Abomination bellowed, charging once more. Ben stood his ground, fists clenched tight. "I ain't gotta be the strongest, pal. I just gotta be the one that don't quit." Their fists collided mid-swing, the shockwave shattering windows 3 blocks away. The ground cracked open beneath them, a fissure running down the street as the two titans strained against each other. For a moment, they seemed evenly matched, scales against stone, fury against grit. But then Abomination surged, his gamma-amped muscles bulging, forcing the thing to his knees. With a savage grin, Abomination slammed his clawed hand down, gripping Ben by the neck and lifting him high into the air. "This is how legends die," he growled, squeezing with bone-crushing force. Ben's rocky fingers clawed at Abomination's grip, his vision blurring. But even as his body strained, his spirit refused to break. Mustering every ounce of strength, he drove his fist upward, smashing it into Abomination's jaw with a thunderous crack. The beast reeled, his grip loosening just long enough for Ben to drop free. The thing wasted no time. Planting his feet, he launched himself forward and delivered a devastating haymaker. The punch connected squarely with Abomination's face, sending him sprawling backward through the wall of a nearby building. Bricks rained down as dust filled the air. "Welcome to Yancey Street," Ben muttered, shaking the dust from his knuckles. But Abomination wasn't finished. With a roar that shook the night, he burst from the rubble, grabbing a steel girder and swinging it like a bat. It smashed across Ben's side, sending him flying into the side of a bus. The impact caved in the vehicle, glass shattering as alarms blared, blood boiling with rage. Abomination stomped toward the downed thing. "You're tough, Grim, but you're not immortal. Tonight your story ends." Ben pushed himself up from the wreckage, his rocky form cracked and battered. His breath came heavy, but his eyes burned with defiance. He clenched his fists and roared back. "It's clobbering time." He charged like a living avalanche, slamming into Abomination with such force that the ground quaked. Blow after blow rained down, each punch echoing like thunder. Abomination tried to fight back, but the thing's fury was relentless, his strikes fueled not just by strength but by loyalty, by heart, by the unshakable will of a man who refused to let his city fall. Finally, with a guttural roar, Ben delivered the knockout blow, a titanic right hook that landed flush against Abomination's jaw. The Gamma Beast lifted off his feet and crashed into the pavement, the concrete cratering beneath his massive body. He twitched once, twice, and then lay still, unconscious in the ruins of Yancey Street. The thing staggered, chest heaving, his rocky skin chipped and bruised, but he stood victorious. Looking down at the fallen Abomination, he muttered through grit teeth, "Like I said, you ain't the Hulk. You're just another punk who thought he could take me." As the sirens grew louder and the crowd cautiously emerged from hiding, the legend of Yancey Street grew once more.